Hello, Mrs. Christie's math people. All right, so we have video number 3. This is Algebra 2. And we are talking about solving and graphing an inequality. This is 1.3. So we've been talking about solving equations that have equality. They are equal to each other. These ones, we are talking about inequalities. So inequality symbols. And I will refer to them as symbols. They are not signs. Signs are plus and minus, right? Positive and negative. So these are symbols, and you have greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and sometimes not equal to. These ones are not going to be used in this video at all. Okay, and just so if you're not sure which ones these are, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, or, right? Greater than or equal to, not and. They mean two different things. And this last one is less than or equal to. All right, so when you're graphing on a number line, when graphing the solution to an inequality on a number line, you're going to use open or closed dots. And those dots correlate with these symbols up here. So we'll talk about those in a second. And you're going to use shading to indicate the solution set, right? It's not just x equals one thing. It's x is greater than 5, which means every single number bigger than 5, 5.1, 5.2, 6, 100,000, and 52.7, they all are solutions. I feel like sometimes you guys know process, but you don't understand what you're talking about. And so one of my goals for you, all of you in my room, is to have a deeper understanding of the math and what you're actually doing when you do it. It's all about problem solving. It's all about thinking outside the box. It's all about manipulating equations and changing them around. So, all right, how do you know which one's which? Well, here we go in terms of open and closed dots. So if you have greater than or less than, you have an open dot on the number line. If you have greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, you have a closed dot. Excuse me. And then you shade from there. All right, so a couple examples, and then I would want to show you how to actually do it in varsity, and then we'll be done from there. So this is the end of my first page. So this is 1.3. Excuse me. Okay, so here's example number 1. And it looks like negative 4x plus 6 is greater than 24. All right, well, you're going to solve the same way, but I'm going to have to point something out. So we got to move this 6 by subtraction, cancel. 24 minus 6 is 18. And then we are dividing by a negative. And when that happens, some alarm bells should go off in your head. Ding, 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 ding. When you divide, actually, when you multiply or divide, an inequality by a negative number, the inequality symbol switches directions. It's a common boo-boo. People forget to do it, and you just have to be really careful. So here, the negatives would cancel each other. -4, -4. So x, this gets switched around, right? So you're dividing by a negative, so it gets switched. And then 18/4, you can divide both of these by 2. And so you're going to have a -9/2. Okay? And we've talked about how to put these answers into varsity. You would actually type this into varsity. But when you put it on a number line, you need to know what that value is. And -9/2, you can put it in a calculator, or how many times does 2 go into 9? Well, that happens 4 times. So this is -4.5. So let me show you what the number line on varsity would actually look like. Then after we do the next example, I'll take you over there and show you. So this might be -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. Varsity is going to automatically be broken into sections if you need them. Okay, so this, again, you're going to be asked for the inequality. I forgot what it actually says over there. Let's go look. Inequality notation. That's what you're going to be asked for. And that quite literally is exactly this. You would type in x is less than -9/2. Okay. But you need to know where that falls on a number line. So sometimes knowing the mixed number is handy. So you're going to ask yourself, based on this sign, open or close dot. Well, we just said anytime you have less than or greater than, it's going to be an open dot. So we're going to put an open dot at the value of -4.5. Well, -4.5 is between -4 and -5. So it's going to fall right there. And then we want anything less than that value, and less than is always this way on the number line, and you would shade in the arrow as well. So that indicates that anything less than -4.5 would be your answer. So this is a two-part process in varsity. You have to state the actual answer and then graph. Okay? All right, so again, bottom of your page, this was page 2 for me, so I'd put my 1.3 over here, go to my next page. All right, now I actually want to do this problem right here. 3x is greater than or equal to 5, okay? So 3x is greater than or equal to 5. I'm going to go back here. We're going to work it out. Here's our example. And that was 3x is greater than or equal to 5. Well, this is one step to finish, and it's fairly easy. And then I just want to talk about what we're doing with it. So we're going to divide by 3. Nothing's getting flipped because nothing's negative. So I'm going to get x is greater than or equal to 5/3. Okay? And we'll talk about how to go type that in. Actually, let's just go do that. So x is greater than or equal to 5/3. So I'm going to come over here. Now, for your inequality notation, you can do a couple things. You can type in your x and then go to your builder. And in here, you'll notice you have an inequality tab, and you have your less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and you can put in your greater than or equal to, and then we had 5/3. So you can go back to basic, hit a fraction, and then put in 5/3. Now I need a keyboard here. So I need a 5/3. And I would hit save after you do that. And notice how it looks over here. And I don't actually like that I have a capital X. Maybe it'll be all right. Maybe it won't. But what I want you to notice is take a look at how, once you come out of the equation editor, here's your greater than or equal to. So if you're a typer, I hate using the builder. I like to just type information in. You can type this all out. Just put in the greater than followed by the equal to with no sign changes or no spaces or anything in there. And then a fraction is just 5/3. The slash is next to your shift key on the right-hand side on the keyboard. So that's what you're going to type in. Now, remember, we talked about knowing what this is equal to. Well, 5/3 is 1 and 2/3. 1 and 2/3 is between 1 and 2. Notice how this is separated into thirds already. So this would be 1 and 1/3, 1 and 2/3. 1 and 3/3 is actually 2, right? So what kind of dot do we need? Here you have your closed dot and open dot. We need a closed dot because of the symbol. We're going to put that at 1 and 2/3. And then you're going to go and get your line arrow, start at your dot, and shade all the way out. It will automatically put the arrow on. You just drag until that arrow appears. Okay, let me show you again. Close dot at 1 and 2/3. Drag out until, notice there's no arrow on there, right? Until I get out here, the arrow automatically appears, and you can just drag off the side and be done. And then you're going to hit submit, and it's going to grade it for you, and you'll know which one is right or wrong. Now, quite honestly, it's almost better when you get the graph wrong or correct, because if you get this right and this wrong, it gives us an idea of what's actually happening. Also notice I did not put a fraction in here. I didn't put in 1.66666. I don't even know if that would give me credit. It's not an exact number, right? You have to round at some point. So that's not going to work out. And it's not going to take a mixed number either. If I put 1 and 2/3 in here, there is no way for me to do that on varsity. So improper fractions. Okay? All right. So that's how you're going to. Inequality notation is the answer that you get when you work out the problem. Then you're going to graph the solution. All right, let's go back here. I want to do one more problem. And this guy looks like, let me change pen color. -4 plus x over 4 is less than or equal to x over 5 minus 6. Now, let me just state, if you see an x up here like this, well, the coefficient here is 1, right? So this might make better sense to you. -4, oops, that's supposed to be a -4 plus, put 1/4 x instead of x over 4. This probably makes better sense. This would be 1/5 x minus 6. All right, now I'm going to move my 1/5 over, and I'm going to combine it with a like term, which means I'm going to move my 4 as well. So I can do all that kind of in one step and then go from there. Now I've already worked this out. I've done the math here. So I already know that 1/4 minus 1/5 is a positive 1/20th. And -6 plus 4 is -2. And I mentioned a while ago that when you have a fraction here as your coefficient, you can multiply by your reciprocal. These will cancel each other out. And then you have x equals -40. Oh, I made a boo-boo. Did you see what I did? I totally dropped my inequality symbol. Less than or equal to, less than or equal to. Okay? And that was a problem in varsity. So you can tell also, if you're in varsity and you get values that aren't on the number line, you've made a mistake. You'll claim that varsity has, but it's you. It's always you. So make sure if your answer isn't showing up on the number line, you go back and find your boo-boo, okay? And one of my challenges to you is to become a good detective. You have to be able to think critically, go back, find your own errors. And let me tell you, it is hard to do, right? It's super hard to do. It's kind of like checking your own essay. You know what you want it to say. There's a boo-boo in there, but you don't even see it because you know what you intended. And so somebody else can look at it and go, why is there an as here where it should be just an A? Same kind of thing with math. I can look at your work pretty quickly and point out a boo-boo to you, but the more that you can do these on your own and find your own mistakes, the better you can work on the problems and be more successful on your own. So if you've tried it once or twice and you can't do it, come to me and we'll figure out what the mistake is. But I'm often going to say, if you worked it out, did you put it into varsity? You have a number of times to get an answer correct. And if you don't get it correct, you can just do another problem, right? So if you work hard enough, you can always earn 100% on your assignments. So this was 1.3, video number 3. Upload your notes and then we'll move on. Toodaloo.